Hello, in the last video I talked about how I used Gemini 1.5 to look at a video that was really long, 2 hours long, and used Gemini AI to process that video into text insights um, so that whoever is interested in looking at that long video can just read a quick summary of what's going on, and it will generally follow what was happening in the video. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about how to create a end-to-end reading application software. So this is a very basic use case that if you know a little about software and coding, this might also be helpful. I'm not going to go into much detail about what exactly is going on within the code, but I will talk about the prompting and the process that I went through. So this is the 3 files that were created. So app.js, there's a debug backend.py and an app.py. I had to debug a little bit since the original code base was not functional completely. Had to change the requirements a little bit, but in general, the overall front-end UI and the backend were functional. There were just a little bit of inconsistencies. This is the original prompting that I used. I asked it to create a functional basic front-end and backend for a library book reading web app using Flask and NPM. I asked it to have different views and add some content for each book. And once clicked, it should open and transition to a new UI where the content of the book is presented, and the content of the book is only expected to be about 1 page long and can be presented as PDF or HTML body. And originally, it created sample books, you could say, but in general, it was more like a sentence or two, and it did select random books, and the sentence is a quote from the original book. So it was not completely random, and it did draw inspiration from actual literature. So what I did is I updated these books, and I changed the name a little bit, and then asked it to continue the story to try and get more content, and also to try and add some randomization to it. So the books could be used as a template. So now I'll go ahead and show you the application. So here's the application front end. There's 3 books: The Great George of Gatsby, To Save a Penguin, and 1999. These are not real books, but they were inspired from real books, as it selected 1984, and then this quote is actually the first sentence, and then it also selected this quote from The Great Gatsby. And then after editing the titles and asking it to continue the story, to add some flavor, it ended up combining the original quote and adding a twist. For example, in To Save a Penguin, it was based off To Kill a Mockingbird. this sentence is from the original story, and then these sentences are completely made up. In 1999, the first sentence is from the original book, and similarly, the rest is made up. And it does make some sense, however, it's not a real story, and it didn't completely fill the page as was asked, so I think further work can be done. However, this is a great start, and only minor edits to the original code base were needed to get it running. But there were issues. There were issues that is not shown in this video. For example, the requirements were a bit off. This function that calls the API was a bit off, etc. And I had to do further prompting to edit the stories, continue the story within the content of the section since it didn't fully finish them. So yeah, I think this is a great idea to use Claude Dev as an extension in VSCode to help you with your coding, and I will apply this to my own work.